So we are back with another episode of Tat Talks, and we have a very special guest today, Tess Holliday.
Yo, what up, Tess?
Well,
how you guys doing?
I was waiting for mine to applause. I thought there was going to be like a round of applause.
That's after we film. Then we're going to put it in fake like TV, you know?
Okay, dope.
You got to put a big applause in her. That's what she wants.
Noted.
Feel all special.
Give her what she wants.
Yeah.
No, I feel special. Is The Rock on after me?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm going to try to get him on here, but we'll see. I don't know, you know? I mean,
Well, I'm
he's
leaving.
kind of busy.
I'm done. No, thanks for having me.
Well, you guys have been friends for a while. I know that you've been tattooed by Niko several times.
Back that up. I mean, friends? That's a big thing. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're for sure friends.
It's because he's like my brother that I never wanted. That's what you're trying to
Yeah,
say.
that's true. Yeah, she constantly fucks with me.
Niko, you've been tattooing me since 2011, 12?
Yeah, I met you like...
No, that was before
I
that.
met you
2010.
when you were nobody. No, I mean, you were always somebody. But I did meet you at the very beginning. It was crazy,
You
right?
did. No, you tattooed me in 2010 when I first moved to LA. So I guess we go back. Yeah. I just started modeling.
Yeah, it's
but
crazy. You had gotten that like TV thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it was like this big
Yes.
like, billboard you were on, right?
I was the face of like a show on A&E.
What was it called?
It was called Heavy.
Okay.
It was a docu-series about weight loss. And I remember telling you about it.
Yeah.
And you were hyped.
Yeah, it
and
was
you were
cool.
like, oh, that's dope. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I kind of thought that was all I would do.
And now, like, what have you done? I
I've
don't really follow
been.
anything. No, I'm just kidding.
We all know that's a lie. Niko's my number one fan.
So we should back this up and like tell them the little joke we had. So check this out. When I first met Tess, I already had like 1,000,005 followers. Okay.
No, you didn't. First of all, you're a liar.
No, but I had like a I guess a decent following, and Tess passed me up, and so like. What was it like? Maybe I don't know. The next day you text me and you were like,
for
"Hey,
a minute."
It's true.
Yeah.
No. But you text me and you were like, "Hey, dude, I beat you," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, damn. Shots fired.
So like I'm over here trying to pull my tits out, you know, and be on the gram all naked.
No, but then
I lose followers though.
But then you beat me because of The Rock, and then but only for a minute, and then I surpassed you again.
Yeah,
So
man. I mean, you got constant. You're killing it.
Assets.
You're killing it. Yeah.
Constant
but you're
assets.
killing it
No.
though. You get all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, seeing you on the cover of, like People magazine and stuff, and you know what, Cosmopolitan. You've been
Cosmo,
on.
Nylon, Self,
Yeah.
LA Weekly.
Yeah. You've done some really cool stuff. I'm really like. I always cheer you
Thanks.
on. I'm like. In
I know
the
you do.
background, you know.
I
Yeah,
always
for
hate
sure.
it when you post me on social media
Why?
though, because the tattoo world, it like is
rough.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
I mean-
every time you post me, I'm like, I need to take a Xanax or smoke some weed. So, and don't look at the comments.
Yeah, you can't pay attention to that
No,
stuff, though.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? Like, people talk shit. I mean, people go in on everybody, you know?
They
I remember
do.
one time
That's
I
what
posted
you
my
always
son.
tell me.
Well, I posted my son years ago, and he had just gotten a haircut, and he was super cute looking, and I was all stoked, and he was, like, happy. And then somebody put in the comment, like, I just want to lay that kid out. And I'm like, what? Like, who
What?
are
I'm
these
sorry
people,
that I
man?
just laughed, but who says that?
See? You
I
think
guess
it's-
the same people that think I sit around and eat McDonald's all day when I would like definitely eat In-N-Out. But
I
not
mean, there's
McDonald's.
trolls.
Yeah.
There's nothing but trolls, you know.
No,
but
there are.
but that's how long I've known you. You know, I've seen you come from, you know, that first modeling experience, which you know I was grateful to tattoo you, and then now to where you're at, and like the following you have, and like the opportunities. I mean, I've seen you with so many celebrities and so many people. It's so crazy. Like, I mean, your name should be Tess Hollywood Holiday.
That's actually what I want. I came to talk to you about. I want to get that tattooed on my butt.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh damn!
No, I'm
down.
just-
Let's do it.
No, you have. We've been friends for a really long time, and I think that's what people. I get stopped all the time, but I've told you this about my arm, the whole right arm that you've tattooed, and people are always like, "Oh, that's sick," like, you know, and I'm like, "Oh, it's by Niko," you know, and they always know who you are, but I'm like, "Oh, he's one of my good friends," and then they're like, "Yo, can you get me in?"
Yeah. And
I'm
what,
like,
what do you
Right.
tell them?
and then I'm like,
You should take
email
$100
his-
deposit and just pocket it.
I should.
Yeah, I'll get
But-
you to the appointment. Give me $100.
Oh my God! Don't even give me
Yeah,
that
look at
idea.
you. You're already. Oh my God, you're totally gonna do it.
Dollar signs is all I'm thinking about right now. No.
Oh man, I had a guy do that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, this guy invited me out to Tasmania to tattoo, and he was throwing a tattoo convention, and then all of a sudden ghosted me. Like when the show came around, he was
Yeah.
supposed to pay me to be out there and everything, And all of a sudden, I got all these emails from people saying like, "Hey, dude, the guy that was throwing the show took deposits," and I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck?" So there's people out there that this dude like totally burned.
No,
for lots of people.
I totally fucked up because I just gave an idea to everybody in the world right now. But man, dude, these pieces of shit, wow.
Yeah, that was I remember that. That was brutal.
Yeah,
How
it was
people
crazy.
do that. Like he was taking like $300 deposits.
Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna do it, but
All the time.
just like sprinkle it
Just
in
at
here and
Disneyland
there.
when they walk up because they
Yeah.
got extra cash to spend.
When people are like, "Yo, your tats are sick. Let me show you mine," and I'm like, "Fucking Nico, I wish you never tattooed me."
Oh, come on.
Now.
I've seen people chase you down just because of you. It's an excuse, They're like, "Can I get a picture?"
No, it's true. They do. I like to go to Disneyland with Nico's family. I went with, he hired a guide last time.
Yeah, the
and
guide
we
last
went,
time.
and I invited myself along. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
you
he
come
invited
along.
me.
Yeah.
But
My daughter loves you.
she does love me. And then I saw that your son started following me on Instagram, but
Oh, yeah,
I
my
have
son's funny.
little Nicky. But I'm like, I don't know you that well, but yeah, I love your daughter. She commented. I did an Instagram live yesterday because my mental health has been kind of crappy, so I'm taking a break from Instagram.
Yeah.
And Lucy commented and was like, "We love you, Tess." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
she does love you.
I
She always
know.
talks so highly of you, and
I
like
know.
she just looks up to you, So.
but I've known them since they were little bitty babies. Now I'm just
So
here.
with this Instagram thing, I read this thing the other day that was like, if Instagram's affecting you negatively, then maybe you're following the wrong people.
Yeah.
And like I kind of believe that
Yeah.
because lately I've been through this thing in my head where I just want to do like a mass unfollow. Like I'm
Absolutely.
not even like I'm talking unfollow 100% of people.
Yeah.
And then slowly rebuild from the
Yep.
beginning because sometimes we follow people just out of like obligation, and I don't want to do that no more. Like I'm so over it, and you know how it is.
Well, I got into a thing, like I actually talked to you about this earlier this year. I was talking about how important it is to cultivate your feed, to follow people that you feel good about, like, because that's, people don't realize on Instagram and in social media, like you just said, that's people who you're letting into your life, into your subconscious. It's stuff that you're absorbing. And so unfollowing people, and I unfollowed someone who was like sharing a lot of like weight loss before and after photos and talking about themselves before in like a negative way. And so I just unfollowed the person, and then she messaged me and was like, "Why did you unfollow me?" And like here I am being naive, and I'm like, "Oh, just because like it was affecting my mental health and whatever." And I was like super nice about it. And then next thing I know, she like sold it to like the tabloids, and it was like,
Oh, what you said?
yeah.
Well, yeah, and
she didn't sell it so
Yeah.
much as like leaked it. And so it
Yeah.
became a story of like how I unfollowed this person, but it turned into like actually the narrative was that I like hate people for losing weight. And I'm like, no. And it's so weird that we're like in this world where like, even if you unfollow somebody, because that's what I was doing, like I don't know this person, I'm unfollowing them, but I followed them out of like, not an obligation, but to be kind.
Of course.
So it's like a slippery slope, but I think that yes, I agree that you should unfollow people and like create a safe space for yourself.
And you can't really take it personally either,
No.
and like
I
people
mean, but if
unfollow
you're me, you
know?
can.
Yeah, but I mean, some people unfollow me, and it's just like, you can't
It's
really
hard.
care. It's not real, like, it's real life, I guess, to a point if you put that much value in it.
Yeah.
But in actuality, dude, like,
So you
who
didn't notice I
cares?
unfollowed you?
I mean, that's totally
Like,
fine. You know what I mean? I'll still like your stuff. You're here right now, but
Like
I'm
if
just
you
kidding.
unfollow somebody, are you no longer friends in real life?
No, it's funny you said that because I have a few friends that
Maybe.
don't. No, I have a few of my close friends don't follow me on social media because they can't handle what people say on my photos. So for them, they had to kind of remove it. I mean, now you can mute people, which is great. But
yeah, I love the muting, but that's also kind of like fake, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't really like you. I don't want to see your shit, but like, I'm fucking gonna mute you. I just say unfollow, dude. Like, this whole social media thing, I mean, it's really interesting. I wonder, like, in 20 years, how that's gonna affect a mass amount of people.
I think it's already
know?
affecting people.
But to see the real, like, I think people are probably gonna have like some weird PTSD from it. Because
Well-
I mean, can you imagine the stuff that's happening and the things that people are going through?
I think about younger generations where, like, if we had the internet and Instagram when we were kids, and the bullying and things that are able to happen, when you got bullied at school, it was like just the people in your school. Now it's online. It's
well, you
for the
can't
world to
escape
see.
it.
Yeah.
But they're saying that there's actually research that because the left brain and right brain control certain parts of our bodies,
Yeah.
that we're actually becoming more like each other through social media, because there are people that are seeing like a certain person in a certain body type and a certain ideal of like beauty, and now people are trying to chase the unattainable. And
I mean, with filters, I mean,
yeah.
you know, filters change everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
I always tell people I'm just as fat in person as they think I am, or fatter.
Oh, man.
I'm fatter in real life.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Nah, you look great on Instagram. I mean, you're okay.
I'm
now,
like-
but no, you look great. You're beautiful. You know, you look amazing. You know that. I mean, you wouldn't be getting all these things if, you know.
But it's
so.
weird to walk into a room and know that mostly everyone has seen me naked already. Like
Yeah.
if they follow me on social media.
Yeah, you like that?
I mean, I like.
Is that an exhibitionist? Is that what that is?
No. Do you know what it is? It's that I choose to do it because I never saw bodies like mine portrayed in media. So
Yeah.
now, I mean, it could be viewed that I take it to an extreme, but.
But I mean, I think that's part of your
I don't
magic.
know.
You know what I mean? I think you own it, you know, and I'm sure it's not easy. I mean, there's two sides to that coin, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you own it and you're proud of it, but then somebody ridicules you and we're still human beings. So like it still hurts. Like it's so weird to me that a stranger can tell you something and you're like, oh dude, I'm kind of cut. You know what I mean? Like what the hell? Isn't it so weird?
Millions of strangers on Instagram for both of you.
It is. You and I have talked about this before too, but you have told me Niko does always give me good advice as much as I burn on him. He does. He is always like, oh, you can't think like that. You have to be positive. And I know it's easier said than done, but I do try to. I have a tendency to, when I have like thousands of comments, you obviously fixate on like the one person, whereas it's not. My reality is that I feel like most people appreciate what I'm doing, and maybe they don't get it, but most people aren't going to chime in.
I mean, what do you have? 1.8 million right now?
1.9.
So 1.9.
Yeah.
That's how many people back you. You know what I mean? Like the truth is, like even if there's people in there trolling you, like. You know, let's just say half of them are 100% down for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge influence, you know, and that's such a positive thing. Like, I think to use it to your advantage and to use it to help people is a major thing, you know. And I see you do positive stuff. Like, you spread positivity about, like, these major events that some people don't want to talk about, you know. Like, I see you kind of go against the media and, like, I'm sure you piss some people off, man.
I like pissing people off. I think that if you're not using social media to challenge people's perceptions and to challenge them in general, and like kind of, I don't want to like stir the pot, but like get people thinking and also help raise awareness about things you're passionate about, then I don't really feel that social media is being used properly, in my opinion.
Of course.
So I choose to use it for good. And I've started working more in the animal rights activism space, which has been like, I just went to a sanctuary in Sacramento, so like, and got to like see all of these rhinos and tigers and stuff up close, and like how they live, which the reason I'm talking about that is because it's like I'm moving out of like the body positive space, which I'm still doing, but I want to like challenge myself more and like who else can I help? But yeah, I don't know if you know much about that world, but it's fucking.
No, my sister's like hardcore. My sister Emily that manages this shop here in Hollywood. She's like the biggest animal lover ever. She's always been like the biggest animal lover.
Yeah.
So her dream is always to do the same type of thing where, you know, she helps a lot of stray animals. Still,
I should take her with me, you know, when I go to like the sanctuaries and stuff.
Yeah, you should. She's awesome.
I'm just like really trying to become part of Niko's family.
Yeah, she's
all
already
my
part of the family.
All my family's in Mississippi, so I know I'm already part of it. But it's like sister wife.
That's why you're here. You know, yeah, for sure.
I was trying to find a camera to make an evil face too, because it sounds.
They're all filming right now, so go ahead.
It just sounds creepy over here, but I'm like, okay, anyways.
Nah, we always get along really well. It's always a good time. You know?
We should be. You should be tattooing me while we're talking.
Right now? No way, man. That's way too much. Look at you. See, they always try to snake me. Just give me a tattoo. Now I know your angle.
No, actually, you can't tattoo me. I don't have any more spots.
Yeah, you do. We got to do up here.
Well, yeah, but that's after.
Oh, after what?
So I'm gonna get my arms. I'm gonna get my arms reduced.
Okay,
I think
that's cool.
Because they've always been. I mean, look, I'm fat all over, but I've been working out like 5 days a week for the past 6.5 months, and I'm stronger. But I've just decided that it will make me feel better.
I think that this is a great time to even talk about things like, you know, because a lot of stuff we put out into the world, you know, like we all change.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have our insecurities, and we all want to change things about ourselves. And there's some things that like are harder to change than others.
For
and
sure.
I mean, the greatest thing about surgery and like, you know, where we live, I mean, there's so many great surgeons here. I think it'd be a great time for you to talk about just kind of your own thing, how you think about that. Because I think you have an internal struggle, like as far as like, you know, maybe talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I think how I view plastic surgery is how I view like any body modification, tattoos, whatever, is that like it's your choice to present yourself and your body the way that you want, the way that makes you feel good. And so the reason I started getting my arms tattooed was because I was working in retail when I was a teenager, and this girl came in, and she was a plus size girl. She was a bit older, and she had 2 sleeves, and there weren't like, now I feel like there's way more tattooed people than there were, like, this was 15 years ago.
Of course.
And I remember thinking, oh, this girl's cool. And anyways, she was wearing this like sleeveless dress, and I told her, I was like, oh, I wish I could show my arms. Like I used the word hate. I was like, I hate my arms. And she said, I used to as well, but I started getting tattooed, and like as kind of like a way for me to love myself. Yeah. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tattoo my arms. But when I met you, I was just going to get one tattoo.
Yeah, and then you ended up getting a sleeve. But you're all tattooed everywhere.
I
like
know.
You collect tattoos from a lot of different tattooers.
I do.
Yeah.
But after you tattooed my right arm, it made me like, it was kind of like you met me at the beginning where I was like starting to learn how to love myself. And like, I would have never worn or done half of the things I did, you know, prior to meeting you. But now I have like all of these amazing tattoos, and I want to get more, but the thing that keeps holding me back is how I still feel about them. So I realized that I actually just got here from my plastic surgeon's office. I just realized that I've done everything I can do as far as like learning how to love myself, and like if I want to get plastic surgery, why should I feel bad about it? Because you see all of these kids, like I always think about your daughter and stuff growing up in social media, and you see these people that like present themselves as like, oh, I've never had work done, when like really they've been at the plastic surgeon, they've like face-tuned their photos, and now they're like lying to everybody about it.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, it's hard. I mean, you have any idea or any take on any of this stuff with
Niko's like,
you know, I have no idea. I mean,
no, but just I've like the tattoos, like why do people come to you from all around the world to get these awesome pieces of art?
Yeah, it makes them feel more proud of themselves. Yeah. I think tattooed people definitely have something in them that they want to change themselves, you know, and I think sometimes we all deal with certain things as tattooed. You know, like we wouldn't get so heavily tattooed if we didn't have these things we're dealing with. And I also think it's a release. Like the pain and everything is a release. So, you know, yeah.
That's probably why we're friends, because you've spent 10 years torturing me.
Yeah, and having good conversations, you know, like we always talk and we know a lot about each other.
Yeah.
I mean, personal stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's crazy because I did work on this real beautiful girl that was like a heroin addict, you know.
Yeah.
And she wanted me to cover all her scars on her leg. And, yeah, man, it really helped her be like confident. You know, and she was real positive about it after.
I had a similar experience with my first piece on my elbow, because I had you know, a skin thing that I didn't like about myself, and so I wanted to cover it so people that would look at the tattoo instead of looking at me and judging me.
Yeah, I've had a few friends that have had like, I mean, some of my friends definitely have embraced like birthmarks and different like things of how they were born. And then some of my friends have, they've embraced it in a different way by tattooing over it and by creating kind of how they wanted to present themselves. So I think that's why I struggle a bit with like my arms, because I'm looked to as like this beacon of like confidence and having it all figured out. But even though I would never say that I have it figured out, because I don't. I usually don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Same. Same.
But yeah, I just like, I think life's too short to like try and like live your life worried about what other people think.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you're gonna get lost in be someone else because everyone expects you to be a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I think it's great. Like, you want to change your arms, change whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, live your life.
I'm gonna.
Do you, boo?
When did you decide to be yourself? Like, I know that like as a woman growing up, you probably deal with all sorts of insecurities, but was there a moment when you were like, fuck this?
I wish I had a light bulb moment, because that makes for like a really good story, but I don't. For me, it's been a gradual process. I think obviously tattooing myself has helped, but through modeling and being able to find like clothing that fit my body so I could decide how I wanted to present myself to the world definitely helped. But it's funny, when I moved, I've been in LA 10 years ago this year. And when I first moved here, a bunch of my friends were like, you're never going to make it. You're too sensitive for LA. It's going to like chew you up and spit you out. And I thought like that made me want to prove it even more. Yeah. And the reason I'm saying that is because I get asked a lot, like, how hard is it for you to live in LA? Because it seems so superficial. But if anything, living in LA is like where I was able to learn how to love myself, because you're surrounded by like a ton of different people doing their own thing. Everyone's usually too busy here to give a shit about what everybody else is doing. And so I moved here and I wasn't like the weirdest person, right? And I was just able to exist and like be myself in a really crowded city of everyone else trying to do the same thing. And yeah, some of us like get plastic surgery and do whatever, but also you can go to like East LA and, you know, like,
I mean, California has so many different spots.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's so different. Like you have San Diego, you have the dirty desert where I'm from. You know?
It's very true. You tried to convince me to go up there today, and I was like, nope.
Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, you know, I came down, whatever. I came to it just for you.
Look, I will, if I have to, I have to say that's always my stop when I'm going to Vegas. I stop and get my in and out, say hi to my homies, and then.
But getting tattooed there is like completely different than getting tattooed here, right?
I prefer to get tattooed in Hesperia.
I told you. Yeah,
it feels. I don't know, maybe because I have a history with it, it does. It feels like home.
But it's the energy too. Like,
it is.
You're in the middle of nowhere. There's nature behind you. Like, I just think it's like the ocean's different, but the desert's different. Like, you could be in the woods. It's just something, there's magic when you're around nature. And I just think that that's something that keeps me in the desert, is because to me it's magical. Like the other night was a beautiful night and I took a picture of the shop and it was a beautiful picture. You know, it's just a different feeling, you know?
I agree. I might feel more magical about it when I'm sitting in your swimming pool having this conversation, because it's hot as hell out there right now. Yeah. But no, I feel 99% of my tattoos from you have been at that shop, and I do. It's a different vibe, and I also feel like you're more comfortable there too.
I mean, here I'm still trying to find my groove, you know, and find what it is I got to do here. I mean, I love the shop. I love being here. You know, I just definitely have to make it my own. I think it takes time. I have 10 years over there. You know, I only have 2 here. So it takes time to find your groove and find what I need to make it right. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you found your groove here in LA now that you've been here for 10 years?
I mean, I have my people like Niko and like my other, like I definitely have my core people that I met, which I feel like is essential when you uproot your entire life, because I've moved over 50 times. So LA for me, yeah, I've moved a lot. Not different states, but I've lived in 7 different states and like 50 plus different cities.
In how many years?
I started moving around when I was 2.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved back to Mississippi when I was 10, which is where I'm from. And then I lived there for like 6 years. But I've been on the West Coast since I was 17. So I was in Seattle and then LA.
Oh, okay. And you just moved around just because your family did and stuff?
My dad was sketchy. I don't talk to my dad. I talk about this a bit in my book. Where
Yeah, what's your book called?
My book is called The Not So Subtle Art of Being a Fat Girl. And then the underlying title is Loving the Skin You're In. Just like me, it's mouthy.
That's cool.
It's a lot.
I love that. That's fucking sick.
Wait, I gotta give you a copy of my book.
Okay, yeah,
I never
for
did.
sure. Yeah, you never
Yeah,
did.
when did it come out?
It came out.
I should buy it, is what it is.
Should.
I'll buy it.
I'll send you an Amazon link, bro.
Yes, that's how you do it.
I'll give you the link.
I think it's only like $12.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it for sure, but you gotta sign it. How much is your signature?
Well, since I love you, it's free.
Okay.
But normally, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I talk about it a bit in my book where my dad moved us around a lot because he was just like a sketchy person. And it was hard for me. I was like not good at making friends. And when I moved to LA, my friendships are literally what saved me. Like, so I do feel at home in LA. LA feels like my home, even though I'm from like the South. This feels like home to me. And it's probably, you create your family. So I feel fortunate that I have a lot of good people in my life here.
For sure. Nicole's transplanted as well. I mean, where are you from, Nichole?
Yeah, grew up in Oregon, lived on the East Coast for years, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York.
So same.
And now
right,
Long
all over.
Beach.
Yeah, high
Yay.
five. LBC. I just went looking for Snoop, but he doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, man, he got the hell out of there.
He's like, bye. No,
Long
I
Beach
love.
is awesome.
I love Long Beach. You're the only person that I've heard that's ever said that it's awesome. Everyone like gives me so much shit for living there.
Really, I love Long
Because they
Beach.
don't
I mean,
know.
No,
well,
they
I
don't
love
know.
it. It's beautiful, but the truth is, it's like where I live. It's the edge of the earth, dude. Like,
Is
it's,
it?
It's far from a lot of things, dude. Yeah, to drive from here right now to there, dude. It's what 45 an hour.
I have heard.
If we're lucky.
I have heard that we are geographically undesirable.
Yeah, and that's all it is.
Same.
But to live there, like if you live there, it's amazing. Like, I mean, obviously it's better than where I live, but that's too far out for me from right there.
I don't feel like I like better in what sense? Maybe for you, I don't know. I agree with
Yeah.
you that like I love the desert. I go like I don't spend a lot of time in Hesperia, but like Joshua Tree stuff like that. There is
You know
something
why I like the
magical.
desert? It's cheap.
Oh wow,
'Cause
that
I'm
doesn't
cheap.
surprise me at all. Anyone that knows
I can
I'm
get
like,
a big piece of
oh.
land, a decent
But
house,
that's-
and it's cheap.
But that's why I chose Long Beach because it was affordable.
Yeah.
But fun fact about Long Beach, it's the lesbian capital of the United States.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably why I felt at home there.
Okay.
But
Long Beach loves gays and art and bikes.
we do.
Oh yeah, that's
We
cool.
do.
I mean, Long Beach is the shit.
And
you know?
graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. I love personally. I could afford to live
Yeah.
there, which is
Yeah.
why I live there.
Yeah,
Real
and
talk.
but I love it down here, like in the Hollywood area and
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. Like I love it down here. So.
It's just so diverse
You
in
know?
LA. You
Yeah.
can, I mean, just having the desert and then having the valley and
Yeah.
then having the hills and then
Yeah.
having Hollywood,
Yeah.
Long Beach, and then you got Orange County.
Yeah, and you got so many beaches, you know, and like the mountains, you know, like Big Bear. It's awesome.
I've never been to Big Bear.
Big Bear is awesome.
gonna
You got to go
invite-
there during the winter. You got to
Yeah.
come with us.
When are we
I'm
going?
gonna push you in the snow.
It's fine by me. I'll roll out and get you.
It's
I'm
so
like,
fun,
don't-
man. I go up there. It's
No,
awesome.
I've never been. I want to go.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you something, and it completely left me.
It'll come back to you. What were you gonna
I
ask
don't.
me?
No, I literally don't remember. It was something mean, and I don't.
So let me ask you this: as far as like like okay, you said you never expected to come this far, right? Like when you first got your first job, like how does that make you feel reflecting? You know, like if you were to sit here and reflect back upon everything you've done over the last, well, how many years has it been?
It's been. I've been modeling for 10 years this year.
Okay, so 10 years. Like, how crazy is that to think? Like all the cool shit that you've done. Do you ever take time to like sit back and like be grateful for like because sometimes we get so lost and sometimes we're unhappy and sometimes we're going through stuff, but like we have to sit back and remember, man, I did this.
Yeah.
Like that accomplishment, like to be on the cover of those magazines, or like you went to Canada, right? And you were on like a
I
cameo on a TV show.
I did a walk on a TV show, and then I had a clothing collab with the Canadian brand for like a year and a half there. So I was going to like Montreal and Toronto like every month for like almost 2
Yeah,
years.
and how many countries
doing
have
that.
you traveled to
I've
just
been-
because of it?
I've been all around the world. So I sit back. I'm actually, well, I told you already knew, but they don't know. I'm taking like a social media break at the moment
Yeah.
because I found it too overwhelming. But one part of what made me do it was because I'm in a therapist I have a therapist like everyone else in LA, and my therapist was telling me like how often do I take time to reflect on
Your
my life and
accomplishments.
what I've done. And I mean, I try to celebrate like small victories, but as you know, when you're like a business owner and you're running it all, it's like you don't really get time to appreciate them because there's always something else, or
Or
like
you're on to the
another
next
fire.
thing.
Yeah.
And you're built that
Yes.
way. Like you just
Yeah.
want the next thing.
And
Yeah.
So like when something's happened, let's say I've shot a magazine cover and I know it's coming out in like 5 months, I'm not even that is done. I'm like already like 10
What's
steps
next?
ahead.
For sure.
But for me, when I'm talking to you and like thinking back to all of that, I think how I never thought that I would be here. I never
Like,
thought.
what the fuck, right?
Oh no, absolutely. I remember when I started making more than like $25,000 a year because that's what I made. I worked at a dental office when first met you,
I remember you
as
telling
you
me.
know,
Yeah.
and I was like doing my modeling on the side. I never thought that I would be able to afford to like live in the house I do
sure.
and like travel and like I just no, I feel
No, it's
really
true.
grateful.
And I think you have great things coming your way more. You know, I just think that I was just talking to Nichole about this in the back, like owning a business and just kind of being like self-sufficient. I mean, you have ultimate highs and then you have ultimate lows, you know, and, you know, navigating through the waters is the most important thing you can do. And, you know, I really think about this a lot because sometimes my shops are fucking killing it and it's amazing. And then sometimes it's down and it's like I feel a little bit slow and I'm not motivated. So I have to find things that I really love and truly have to find myself, you know. And even like going with my family to Hawaii, I'm lucky to get this opportunity to go. But I'm not tattooing at all. Like I'm taking a week off. And it's honestly for the same thing, like some mental health.
Yeah.
You know, and I need to reflect on what is it I'm doing, what is it I'm building, and who do I want to be, and who do I want to be viewed as, and like who am I as a person? Like, am I a good person? So these are things you have to go through, you know.
You are a good person, but I don't feel like there's such. I don't know. I do believe that there are good people and bad people per se, but I also think that there are like good decisions and bad decisions that people do that like maybe. But there's one thing that you said to me, which I don't know if you remember. It was when we were in the Hesperia shop. I think you were fixing Dolly's face.
Okay.
Because
yeah, it healed rough.
it healed.
She's pretty.
Her face healed rough. Let me just say, because I flew to Australia the next day after getting tattooed by Niko, and I fell asleep on my bed, like face down, like her face in the sheet.
Material.
So she
that
stuck.
happens, you know?
Her face got
I've had
ripped.
it happen to me too.
Her
like I
face ripped off on the sheet, and I remember texting Niko and saying, "Do you think her face is gonna just magically pop back?" Nah, it's not. But you would never know. That's why you're the best.
No, it's touched up. Thank you.
But what you told me was that because I was like talking to you one time about something I was going through and I was struggling, and you said that regardless of what I was going through and like where I ended up, that no one could take like what I've done, like no one would ever be able to do the things that I've done, and like I try to remember that when I'm having a hard time, that like, yeah, I might feel like nobody gives a shit about me right now because work is like technically slow, but work isn't technically slow. It's that the things that I'm building take more time.
Of course.
And so it seems that I'm not doing much, which is again where the social media stuff comes in, and like me allowing myself to take a break, or you going to Hawaii. But no one will ever, you know, I was the first to do a lot of the things that I've done, and I always have that, and it you know, it might not mean much
You're
to
a
some people, but
trailblazer.
yes.
Yeah, and by being a trailblazer, I mean, that means that once everybody's, and this is how I think, me and Nichole talk about this all the time. Like I'll do things, like I'll do seminars, right?
Yeah.
And I'll teach people, and we'll do these workshops, and then I start seeing everyone doing them. I don't get mad that everyone does them. That's natural progression of an industry or a culture or whatever. All I think is, okay, well, I'm going to settle back and I'm going to rebuild and refocus, and I'm just going to do something better, or I'm going to do something new, or do something different. So like, you always have to be one step ahead. And I think that people sometimes think that they're like in the same place.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's all good, dude. Like you may think that, but I've already lapped.
Yeah.
Like I'm lapping. Like, you know, I'm already a couple laps ahead of you. So like, it's all good, you know, and I don't take it negatively, like, right. You know, so, I mean, I understand like where you're at in your mind right now. You just got to focus and keep pushing forward and not give up with that stuff, you know, and you won't, because that's not how you're built.
No, I never give up. No, I don't.
How do you like when you're blazing a trail, this can go for both of you, and you start to get the criticism and you know, people on either Instagram or in person trying to hold you back, what keeps you guys moving forward through all of that negativity? Well,
for me personally, I don't have a choice, because I it would be, I just don't have a choice. I know I know my path and my purpose is to help and serve others, even though some people wouldn't see it that way because they see me as just a model, but I represent a lot to a lot of different people. And I know that perhaps I was the first to do some of this stuff because I don't know. I don't know if I believe in, like, I don't necessarily believe that things happen for a reason, because I think that we create our own opportunities and create our own paths, and some people might be in the right place at the right time. But I do feel like what I was doing is for a reason, and that that there's a reason that I was able to do this stuff and that I'm on a path. And if I give up, then you're just hoping that someone else is doing it with the right intentions and the right purpose behind it.
I mean, the truth is like nobody really affects each other. Like just because someone else goes and does something similar doesn't take away from you. I think that's a lot of things that we do.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I think we get lost in the, as a
Yeah,
person. I mean, I do
yeah.
the same thing. Like someone's doing like what I do and they're doing it really well and they're getting really well known for it. It's easily to get lost in like jealousy or like, oh man, that guy's taking away from me. But the truth is, nobody can really take away from you. Like you got to just keep fucking hustling and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, we're like our worst enemy.
I'm making that face because you and I have talked about this too, because you have said this and I've, whatever, that there's enough room for everybody. And
Yeah,
that
like
we can
enough
all,
oxygen to breathe.
yes, we can all do our own things and be successful. And obviously women have been taught to like, you know, we've been pitted against each other in society. So sometimes I feel like we're our own worst enemies, but there's room for all of us.
For sure.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
take up a little bit more room.
No, I
but-
mean, I love everything that's happening with women, you know, like it's all this moving forward. And I find it kind of interesting. It was funny. I was telling Nichole, I'm like, we got to get a guy for the next interview. You know what I mean? And this will be the second woman. And she was like, what do you mean?
That's what I said.
Whatever.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, whatever. But, you know, it's crazy that, like, you know, that I love seeing, like, the superheroes and the movies that are happening because I'm excited for
Yeah.
my daughters, you
Yeah.
know, and for them to have role models like that.
What are you hoping to accomplish through focusing more on your mental health?
Well, it's kind of like what they tell you when you, well, I say they, when you become a mom, people always say, take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't really take care of your kids properly. So I kind of view, I've always said that I view my followers as an extension of my family, because I know that much of my success is largely in due to social media. So I wouldn't have this success per se if it wasn't for my followers.
Yeah.
And because I've chosen to live my life publicly and share the parts of me that I choose to share, then people assume that they know you. They assume what's going on when they don't. But I guess the flip side of that to the mental health is, because I share so much, my followers can usually tell when like something's going up. I'll get like the nicest DMs from people saying like, hey, I've noticed you're a bit low. I hope you're okay. And I've built friendships through there. But what I've had to realize is that if I'm not taking care of myself and if I'm not putting the work in, then I can't be of service to the people that I'm trying to help. I notice that because a lot of the stuff I talk about is like considered taboo and not very popular and sometimes controversial, it takes a toll on me a lot. And so I was okay until a few years ago, and it wasn't until like the past year and a half that I really had to step back and start working on myself, because I kind of had like a little bit of a breakdown and I was forced to. So I've noticed that through this most recent break and like sharing on social media that I'm taking a step back for my mental health. I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying like, thanks for sharing. Like somebody said like, oh, it's nice to see that like celebrities are, go through that stuff. And I'm like, of course we do. Like, of course we do.
I mean, if you have you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet?
Not yet, but I've heard
so
a lot
good.
about it. Yeah.
What is that?
It's the new Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like, you should go watch it. There's a part in there with Leonardo DiCaprio, and like Joanne was laughing because she was like, you act just like that. He's like so destroyed by his career and he's like so upset.
Yeah.
And there's just a part in there that's just like, I mean, it shows you the flip side of like, I think what people deal with. And I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like to be someone truly famous, like someone on the highest level of fame. I mean, the amount of pressure and the amount of like, just criticism you get would be, man, I don't know how you would deal with that. You have to be a special person to endure that.
Sorry, that's my pizza coming through. No, I'm just
What do you want me to do?
Just take it off and hang it up. Sorry, guys. We're really at a working shop right now.
Yeah, we are.
If you're calling, we're hanging up on you.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Is Niko
Black
there?
Anchor, bye.
Black Anchor.
I should have answered it.
You totally
Oh,
should have.
man. Maybe they'll call back right now. Wow.
Yeah, because they're going to be like, what the hell?
Okay,
There
let me
you
see.
go.
Let me see.
Oh my God, they're not gonna know who you are. That might be funny.
Let's see here. I'm actually going to. How do you make it? Oh, right here. Black Anchor, how can I help you?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is Nico in?
Yeah, this is actually Nico.
Nico, is it?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What up, it's Jack, brother? How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Josh, I mean, do I know you?
Jack, come on. This is Jack.
Oh,
Zach?
Hysteria. Okay.
Oh, what's up, Zach? Hey, I'm recording a podcast right now, and you're on the thing, so you're gonna be on it. It's great to hear from you. Hey, I'm gonna give you the phone of my sister, and then you can give her your number, and then we can I'll hit you up on my cell phone.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. All right, here she is. All right, actually, that was a friend of mine, Zach. He has a bunch of tattoos from me.
When he
It's
said, "Is
awesome.
Nico there?"
Wow, that was awesome. That was meant to be, right?
Did you? What are the chances?
Yeah. No, I did like
I
a
was trying
big
to-
back piece on him, and I've tattooed him a bunch. He's awesome. Like I tattooed
crazy.
him for so long. So yeah, he's been someone that's been around for a very long time. So yeah, it's cool.
He doesn't have your number though. Like
I changed
me.
my number maybe a couple of years
I
ago.
know,
You
I
know, so
remember.
yeah. I just got rid of.
It's because I was giving it out to people.
I was tired of all the naked pictures you were texting me.
I know.
I got to get away from this.
No, I know.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
just got to I just needed to change it. I wanted people. I've had the same number for 10, 15 years, and I just wanted to get rid of them. And so
I've been
anybody that has
thinking
my
about
number,
changing my number actually.
just do it.
I've had the same number for 10 years, and I really want to change.
Yeah, I mean,
it.
dude, I live by the words of Nike. Like Nike to me has the best slogan you could ever have, because whenever you're like, man, I'm thinking about eating healthier, or I'm thinking about exercise, or I'm thinking about starting this painting, Nike, or they just say just do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I say right now. Like it's if you're thinking or contemplating, just do it. So Nike, send me some free shit.
And that's the same thing as your mass unfollow on Instagram is
Yeah.
when you change your number, you're kind of cleansing
Yeah, I mean,
people
a
that
lot-
can reach out to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in people, that I feel like sometimes you don't have the best emotional connection with. And I just think that if I get on there just to do it as a courtesy to somebody because of their feelings, I probably shouldn't do that. That's not very good,
No, but I feel like that's all of what social media is. It's that's why I try to remind people that social media is not real life, and it's not a true indicator of how someone is and how their life is and how happy. It's all an illusion.
Well, it's kind of, but that's life though. Like if you
Absolutely.
go on the street and see a person that you haven't seen in 6 months,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, how's life? They're gonna be like, fucking great. And then they
Right.
walk away and they're like, oh, dude, life sucks. It's
Man.
everybody's just kind of
I
that
guess.
way, unless you have a good relationship with them, then you really know what's going on.
Or unless
you
they
know?
don't understand personal boundaries like me, and they'll just be like, well, it's been really shit lately.
Yeah.
How long do you have? No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's
I just
true.
always have to mess with you. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's true. It's true. I mean,
No, it's
social
true.
media is such a weird thing. I feel like there's value in it because we put so much value, but it definitely is fake and unrealistic. It's like,
What's the greatest hits of everyone's lives usually?
yeah,
And
nobody's putting their shitty stuff out there.
no one's putting shitty stuff out there. And when you are looking at all these people living wonderful lives and you reflect on yourself, you really start to feel negative about
course.
yourself by comparison.
Of course.
So
And I actually respect people that completely check out of it. They're like, fuck that, I don't even have it. And I'm like, damn, son, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally not. It's part of my work, so I literally could never check out. But I at least
Oh, the
have
same for me.
gaps where, yeah. Also, sometimes I want to see what Meryl Streep is posting on Instagram,
I feel the same,
you know what
yeah,
I
no,
mean?
I mean, I'm inspired by so many people.
Yeah.
I follow accounts that have cool quotes and things that get me going and make me think about stuff, and it's definitely a necessity for my business, and I'm super grateful. For Instagram, that's made me so much. So thank you so much about it. And yeah, so
sponsorship by Instagram.
yeah, Instagram, put me on
Dang,
your
we're
Instagram
so
account.
thirsty. We're trying to get free Nikes, meatballs, and Instagram.
No, you were saying you're trying to get balls deep.
Oh my god, Nico, what do you do when your mental health isn't great? Because you and I have talked about some
What are
of
you
this.
talking about?
but
I'm
what
100
do you-
all the time. No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
liar.
You know, I do deal with that, man. I get like honestly, I'm really like emotional. And so I get my heart broken on a regular basis, you know, because I invest in people. And, you know, I know it's not people's intention to hurt others or like, you know, most people. And I think people are just trying to navigate through their life and make the best decision based upon their view and what needs to be done for their life, you know. And so I have to really take a step back sometimes and not be so judgmental, you know, and really think about their perspective. As far as for me, how I deal with it, I mean, daily, I have to exercise. Like I'm still, you know, I eat pizza and I eat whatever I want, and I do smoke weed at night, you know, and I.
But exercise has helped you a lot, I know,
Yeah.
because I've seen it.
Well, the mental part, like, I remember when I was going to a trainer, it was like, she asked me, why are you coming? You know, what are your goals? And my goal was like, I'm so stagnant and I feel so cloudy in my brain.
Yeah.
I need a workout. And so I really do it to keep myself youthful and to keep my mind going. Like, you know, it's great if I was fucking ripped and had a six pack, but I like burgers and pizza and ice cream.
You have a cute dad bod.
No, I don't know about that, but you know, thanks. But you know, I need to do these things. There's certain things I have to do every day. Like I have to work out, and I have to be around my family. Like one of my favorite things is to really be around my kids. And so this trip to Hawaii that I'm going on tomorrow is really to recharge. Like they will help me recharge myself, and the experiences with my family is what I really need. And I'm really fortunate. My mom's going, and me and my mom, you know, have had like a very, you know, weird relationship where it's like really great and then it's like kind of odd, and it's been like that because my parents got divorced. So I think it's going to be really nice to be able to spend time with my mom and my kids, to be able to spend time with her, and it'll be something special that we'll remember. And I'm excited about that. And I got to be super thankful for tattooing and, you know, and social media, because I'm like a MySpace baby. Like I've been on social media since MySpace.
Same. What was your MySpace name, Nico?
Come on, dude. It's been Nico the whole time.
What?
Niko Hurtado. I
but
never
that
had
was-
like some weird one.
Yeah, I don't think I had a MySpace alias.
Nah.
Were there aliases?
Why did you
Well,
have an
so
alias?
okay, because you know
What was
my
yours,
what's
Munster?
my real name? You know my real name. That's not Tess. My legal name.
I know your name.
What is it?
Ryan.
Okay. So I was
Ding,
just
ding, ding,
testing
ding.
him. That's how he met me. He met me as Ryan.
Yeah.
That's what Joanne
Last
still
name
calls
Gosselin,
me,
right?
Ryan. Yes. No, my MySpace was Ryan the girl, because
Okay.
everyone used to. My friends growing up would be like, "Oh, mom, I'm gonna go spend the night at Ryan's house," and they'd be like, "The fuck, you're spending the night at a dude's house?" And they'd be like, "No, Ryan, it's a girl. She's my
Oh,
friend."
okay.
So it was
That
like
makes
Ryan
sense.
the girl. Yeah.
And then when I met you were Tess Munster.
I was Tess Munster.
Yeah. What was that about?
Really, Nico, it was just because I love the Munsters.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I love the Munsters.
That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
as far as
badass.
it went.
Yeah.
But then I decided, well, when I met my husband, I took Holiday, his last name,
That's
and
cool.
it just sounded.
It's a good name.
You just polish a turd, you know. Tess Holiday just sounds more
Yeah, it's
professional.
way professional.
It sounds like a party.
Yeah. And next up, Tess Hollywood.
That's what I'm going to change my name. Stupid.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, what would you like to leave? Like, I mean, this is, you know, about you and kind of what you've done, and you know, I've known. I mean, there's maybe we'll follow up one day, because I mean, there's so many stories you and I have shared. Like, I know there's a story about you ordering a shake in front of somebody and then being like really shitty, and you know, we don't have to talk about that right now, but maybe another one later.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you do your podcast, we can talk about that.
I know.
You know, but I know you've went through a lot, you know, and I know that people have kind of shit on you. And, you know, I know that what you're doing as far as like being a bigger girl and doing the modeling, and, you know, you've went through a lot, dude. So a lot of the people I think that follow me or are going to watch this are probably your fans, and also people that like my work. And a lot of us are rejects. Like, I feel like I'm a reject. Like, I feel like anyone that comes tattoos with me at my shop isn't like a tattoo artist. Like, we're not like a biker, like this tough dude. Like, we're a bunch of dorks that watch. I mean, you know, we go to Disneyland, and like we're talking about Marvel movies like if somebody was talking about sports.
That's
you know.
true.
And so I just think that we're kind of a reject in a certain way, and I love that. And I hope that people are listening and watching that feel that way, and that we're here with you rooting, because that's us.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, what do you want to give them? What do you want to tell them? You know, what would you, okay, so young you, before you did all these things,
Yeah.
what did you need to hear?
Basically that I wasn't alone, that there were other people. I just remember growing up feeling I was I lived in a small town. I felt really alone. I was sad. I felt like, because I was the black sheep, that was like the worst thing that I could be. And then I realized that it was actually fucking dope to be the black sheep. I think that it's important to remember that, that all of like, none of us have it figured out. We're all doing our best. We're all doing what we need to sometimes to like cope with how difficult life can be. And I think that I try to remember, and I try to tell people to cut yourself slack, to be kind to yourself and to be gentle, which I know sometimes can sound cliche, but it's true. As someone that has to constantly remind myself that like, yeah, I was the weirdo, I was the reject, I dropped out of school when I was a kid from being bullied, and I've been abused my entire life. And it wasn't until I realized that I could create my own life, and I was in charge of my own happiness, and that it was okay to be weird. Like okay, it was okay to be weird, and that you just have to find your people that are weird too, and that are, down with the weird stuff that you're into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you felt the same in your life, right? Like, kind of. I mean, you have something to say to these people too?
Well, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think that we all feel like we're alone in some way, like we're the only ones that look like this, that feel like this. And when you're able to find other people who actually have the balls to put it out into the world on the internet and through social media, that like, oh, I don't like my arms either.
Yeah.
I have bad days too, where you don't feel like you're a loser and that you don't have any hope because you're seeing other people go through the same thing.
Yeah.
And also, I will say that we could all learn a bit from like trying to not be such assholes sometimes to people. Like, that's not necessarily like to the trolls, but like in general, like we should all respect like the journey that everybody's on. Like when you were talking about fitness and all of that, like exercise has helped me tremendously. But I know that for some people that would like look at me, they think like, oh, she doesn't do that or whatever.
Sure.
But like we're all on our own journey and our own path, and we should just like respect the fact that like sometimes getting up is the only thing that person can do.
Let's be honest. Like I know a lot of people that are fucking ripped.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, once I find out, and I always find out because they always fess it up. Usually the males are on steroids, dude.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth,
Yeah.
So like, nothing against that. That's all good. But, I've never done anything like that. I've never tried. I'm not taking it away from anybody. But a lot of people make you think, especially on Instagram, that like, oh, I got this just from eating grilled chicken 50 times a day. And it's like, dude, no, you didn't. Like, you did work really hard, and I do respect that.
Yeah.
And I get it. But, it does come with that. And everything comes with a price. You know what I mean? And so I just think it's all what you're willing to do, and I just,
Yeah.
I think that when you said knowing, respecting other people's journeys, one thing that I was taught was, even when you don't know somebody, everybody's going through something. Mm-hmm. Treat someone like they just lost someone they loved.
Yeah.
You have to treat people with kindness, even if you don't know them, because you really have no idea
what they're going through.
And if you keep in the mindset that this person just lost someone that they love, it really gives you compassion and gratitude.
Yeah, because I think most people aren't trying to be shitheads. They're trying to make the best decisions they can,
Yeah, and then there's people are also projecting their own shit onto you, and you have to like, and showing compassion towards them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're just all trying to figure it out. And
for sure. Well,
it's cool to be nice.
I just want to say thank you for taking your time. I know you're busy, on
Thanks,
your photo
Tatiana.
shoots. Tatiana.
That's how Nico's in my phone is Tatiana. We'll save that for another time.
Yeah, but thank you, and I hope to see you soon. And
Thanks.
I got to get back to the desert because I got to pack for
Hawaii.
Yep.
Little do you know, my fat ass is gonna find a way to squeeze into your
That's
luggage,
right, you can
and
get
we'll
in
pop
my
out and be like, "Hi,
hey, Tatiana."
I'm already working it out. But no, thanks.
Thank you so much. I'll see you later.